No matter how you look at careers, people love to look at their careers and they'll say, well, eventually, talent would rise up, or there were a lot of talented people I had in acting class that didn't hit it. It didn't hit for them. Luck plays a huge part in this. Create some of that luck.
So we're going to move on now and talk about The Descendants, which Alexander Payne directed, which is a film about, and in a sense Michael Clayton is too, I mean a lot of films, but this is particularly a film I think about personal responsibility, isn't it? It's about a sense of how you, partly it's getting to know things about people you thought you knew and didn't, and the great mysteries that we all are, but it's also about what you have to do yourself, I think.
It's also getting to know and to understand. You didn't understand that you were cuckolded until you understood it. You don't understand that your 7-year-old daughter has more on the ball than you do. It was an interesting character for me because it was the first time I had to play a guy who lost every single fight he got in. He just loses every fight with his daughter, with his friends, and that there's no, like there's a sequence where I'm running in flip-flops, and I'm a jock, I've played sports my whole life and stuff. And I run like a dork in it, I run like a geek in it. And people now go, oh, I saw him running like a geek. It actually makes me proud. I'm like, yeah, good. But it was a character that I really was excited to play because he was taking all of this veneer of who people think I am and sort of took that away and just said, here's a guy who doesn't have any, he doesn't have any ego or id or anything because it's all been worn out of him over the years. And I like that a lot. And I like that his daughters, particularly Shailene Woodley, who is, I just adore, and I think of her as my daughter, they force you, they give him the energy to become a man, and and Alexander Payne is, a dear friend and an extraordinary director. And he knows how to tell stories in the best way. And, there's a few directors that if they called me today, I'd be like, on a plane. Well, maybe not today on a plane, but
no, maybe. But I mean, but what he does do here is, he takes subject matter that could be, it's really delicately handled because it could be mawkish, or it could just be very over sentimental, or it could be melodramatic in a way that it isn't. The premise, for anybody who doesn't know, is that your character is Matt King is a landowner in a particularly beautiful part of the world, and his wife is in a coma with no prospect of emerging from it. And in this extraordinary period, he discovers all kinds of things, including, as you say, that he's being cuckolded. And the little scene we're going to see is where your character, Matt King, and his daughter, played by Shailene Woodley, go and see the man in question.
Oh, good. That's a funny scene.
I'm sorry for sucking you into this. Should be doing it alone. It's selfish of me.
I'm the one who sucked you in. I'm the one who knew. Don't be a pussy.
Hi there. It's the guy from the beach today.
Oh, hello.
Hi, yeah. I'm such an idiot. I just figured out I do know your husband. My daughter and I were on our way back to the hotel from dinner, and we just thought we'd stop by and say howdy.
Great, come on up.
Yeah. I'm Matt King, and this is Alexandra.
I'm Julie Spear.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought that was you. You've been in the paper so much lately. I figured you had to know Brian. He's been pretty involved.
Yeah, no, super involved. Yeah, maybe we met in passing, I don't know.
So I guess you guys are deciding really soon, in the next couple of days, right? You and your family meet? I'm sorry, that's probably a conflict of interest or something.
No, it's okay. You're right. It's all gonna be over in a couple of days.
Do you guys want some lasagna?
No, thanks. We just ate.
A drink then.
Sure.
Red wine, iced tea?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey. Hi, I'm Brian.
Brian, we may have met before. Matt King. My wife is Elizabeth King. I think you may have met her, too. It's our daughter, Alexandra.
I was just gonna get them some drinks.
Good.
Do you want some help?
No, I got it.
Elizabeth is dying. Oh, wait, fuck you. And she's dying. We unhooked her from the machines this morning. She'll be dead in a few days.
This is him? Why would she go for him?
Beats me. No, he's very articulate.
I'm sorry. I never thought it would come to this.
You're sorry that my mom's gonna die? You're sorry that you fucked her? You sorry you fucked over my dad?
I'm sorry for all of it.
Look, pal, I'm not here to wreck your life. I just want to give you a chance to go to the hospital. I don't know how long you're planning on staying here, but I'm sure you can find an excuse to leave.
You must be good at that.
You can be alone with her to say goodbye or whatever. You hear what I'm saying?
Okay, look, I can't have you here. Do you understand that?
Here we go.
Thank you.
Everyone's so serious. Please tell me you weren't talking about business.
We're talking about love.
With Shailene Woodley there, and also Matthew Lillard, terrific in The Descendants.
He's spectacular. And Judy Greer, I worked with her on Three Kings years and years before that. She just, she beats to a different drum, literally as a performer, not as a person, but as a performer. She has this really unique rhythm that just makes everything, sound new and fresh. And she's a remarkable actress. And Matthew was great in that. I hadn't seen this in so long, and God, he was great in it.
So it is that idea of personal responsibility, I suppose, and that would bring me round in a rather inelegant way to say humanitarian work. Yeah. Was that always in mind once you had the wherewithal, as it were, the ability to do it?
Well, yeah. I think that people go through these places in their lives, and when you're just trying to get a job, that's not where your focus is. I was doing all these Block Bork parties. Where Judge Bork was going to be on the Supreme Court, and all the anti-apartheid stuff in the early 80s. I was protesting and doing all that kind of stuff. But it was very hard to be deeply involved because you're trying to get work and you're broke, And then when things start to work out a little better, then you're able to point towards the direction that you were raised in a way, which is to say, you've gotten some luck, and now it is your job to make sure that you spread that luck to some other people in whatever way you can. Because, no matter how you look at careers, people love to look at their careers and they'll say, well, eventually, talent would rise up, or, there were a lot of talented people I had in acting class that didn't hit it. It didn't hit for them. Luck plays a huge part in this. Create some of that luck. I remember, I think it was Jack Nicklaus sunk a 60-foot putt, and somebody said lucky putt, and he said, yeah, it's amazing. The more I practice, the luckier I get. You create some of that luck, but you still need it. It's got to hit. You got to have a show that hits the Thursday night at 10 o'clock on NBC. You need those moments that have nothing to do with your work or your performance. So if you're going to get that, and it's going to hit in the way that it hits, then I believe, of course it's your responsibility to make sure that luck gets shared. Luck can grow like crazy. It's like a seed in the ground, and you can turn around and say, well, let's figure out other ways to make sure that, that this isn't just selfishly hoarded, this thing of luck, and that it's the ability to push it out to other people. And as I said before, my father taught me as a young man to pick fights, and that's fun. It's fun to, Amal and I, we have a foundation, and it has sort of three legs to it. One is called the Sentry, which is something I've been doing for a long time, which is chasing down war criminals, and we follow them with forensic accountants, that we hired away from the FBI, and we follow them around and we get their bank accounts. And, sometimes they're so stupid, they put it on Instagram where they're on a jet and shit like that. And we're able to shut down, some stuff we give to the Treasury Department as long as they didn't have to use our name. The Trump Treasury Department would take take the stuff we gave them and would shut down the bank accounts of these war criminals. And also we went to the banks, and they've been incredibly helpful in doing the same thing. I've been to many banks in London and sat down with them as we talked through the process of making it impossible for these guys to use dollars and pounds and euros. It's fun. It's fun to do. And it's fun to shut these guys down. And then the other element we have, Amal's sort of where Amal is the center of, is this trial watch, because so many of these authoritarian governments are using the court system to pretend that they are a legitimate democracy, and they're sitting back saying, "Well, we put them through the trial. They went through a judge and a court, and they were found guilty." And the judge is also the prosecutor. That's not a joke. That's happened many, many, many times. And so we have monitors now, we've had monitors in 30 different countries, Hong Kong, monitoring these trials to create this sort of justice index to say, okay, where does your country, and by the way, the United States is not number one by any stretch of the imagination, a justice index on where we stand in terms of putting journalists in jail, just simple things like that, freedom of speech, those kind of things. It's really exciting, and probably takes up, 30 or 40% of our days. And, I love doing it. I love being a part of our lives. And Amal's brilliant at it. While she's in the middle of her real world, she's trying to get Maria Reza to keep her from going to jail, and Duterte's trying to put her in jail. And, her line, and it's really true, is that the people who are reporting these stories are all going to jail, and the people who are committing these crimes are all getting away with it. And that's got to change. That's what she's working on in life, and in her real life, in her job. And then we try to bring what we can into the foundation. It's really exciting.
So that 30, 40% of time that you're talking about, is that an increase on the way it was? I mean, is that growing, or is
growing? Yeah, all of that. And that's not unusual for people, when you get to be my age. I think as you get older, your focus becomes more and more and more about how much you pay attention to your time, and what you're able to do with it, and how much you can spend trying to participate in other people's misery in some ways, and try to make it better.